How did you find out about Penny Templeton Studio?
I first heard about Penny Templeton Studio through a friend of mine who she found one of her flyers at the Drama Bookshop in New York City, and she'd heard that I'd been going to all these different studios trying to find some acting coaches. This was very, I'd only done commercials up until that point, and I wanted to pursue acting, so I was trying to find my coach. I'd gone to all these different studios, and for whatever reason they weren't connecting. I wasn't, whether it was the classes or the coaching or the way they were communicating, for some reason it just wasn't speaking to me. And then so I saw this flyer, and for whatever reason I looked at her on the flyer, and she just looked really warm and welcoming. I said, let me check this place out. And as soon as I got there, from the space to her, there was an energy, and the energy was very welcoming and warm. And what I ended up learning as we started working together is, first of all, we got along great, we hit it off, but more specifically is it was very intimidating because she was really brutal at first. She was very direct, and she, if I wasn't, in the moment for something, or if something didn't connect with me, whether it was a substitution or anything, if something wasn't connected, she would be very quick to let me know and be very direct about it. And to be honest, I appreciated that. And I also just felt that her technique and everything that she, you could tell that she studied a lot of different techniques, but she kind of made it her own. And more importantly, she found a way to communicate it really, really clearly. And for me, that was extremely, extremely helpful. For instance, she had this pamphlet when I first signed up, and it basically spoke about everything that she had, and all her technique in terms of how she teaches, substitutions, how to break down scripts, how to break down characters. And I never kind of had that laid out in front of me that way. People always spoke about it, but it'd be vague, or they just weren't specific. So that's how I first found out about it. And as soon as we met, we clicked, and I've been using the Penny Templeton technique since. So it's been great. Yeah.
That's great. So you said you clicked.
Yeah.
How did you sort of, I guess, relate to her that was different from your other?
I loved having a one-on-one because I had her attention, I had her, she was mine. Anything that I needed, it was very specific to me. And that was another thing, her notes, and it wasn't like it was just a class where she was speaking to everyone. She, when you would get up on that stage, and first off, it was on a stage, you're on a stage in front of the class. It was intimate though, and it was small. But it was very, everything she said was very specific to me. She would say, you're not connecting to this, or something's not working, or that looks great. And she has a great, great eye for that. Yeah.
What was your favorite part of class?
My favorite parts of class, well, obviously the I'm So Pissed have become incredibly famous, I think. I'm sure for a lot of people it's just a way to kind of get up on stage and completely just say whatever you want and vent, or whatever's pissing you off, or whatever you have on your mind and you just got to get out. It's a great place to do that. So the I'm So Pissed were one of my favorite things. I could come in, if something pissed me off, I was able to just go in class and completely let it out in whatever, in a yell or sound, whatever. But I also really enjoyed the 10 to 1s. I thought the 10 to 1s were great. First of all, incredibly challenging for me at first. And like I said, she likes to push you, and she likes to, if you're uncomfortable, I feel like then she knows she's doing the right thing. She's doing her job. And those 10 to 1s were incredibly uncomfortable for me at first, but we kept working on them, and she was very specific about how each one has to be a completely different stage when you go from 10 to 9 to 8 and working your way down. So I love those exercises. I still try to do those exercises even if I'm not working. If I'm home, I'll do the exercises. So yeah, those two probably for me are my favorite.
And so when you're on set, do you use your technique?
Yeah, I mean, I still use a lot of the things that when I first started class. I still go down, I still break my scripts pretty much the same way since she's taught me. And finding substitutions and breaking down, beats and going through, positives and negatives throughout the whole script, and where certain moments are really important, and I want to, emphasize on that. So I still, and even when I'm on a set and working, I still prepare myself the same way. For the most part, I'm still always trying to evolve myself, and I'm always trying to improve myself. So, and that's the cool thing about our relationship, I gotta say, is she's always trying to improve her technique. She's always trying to learn. I'm always trying to improve my craft and always trying to learn. And we collaborate that way a lot, which is actually really cool. She'll call me and she'll say, what have you learned? What are you doing? And I'll say, well, this is happening. And now they're shooting shows with little cameras. They don't even need big, cameras anymore. And so we share all these cool things. And it's really created a very close bond between her and I. And she's become, for sure, beyond just an acting coach for me. But there's no doubt about it, without having Penny in my life, a lot of my base and foundation definitely comes from her.
Great. And I guess for someone who's maybe starting out and kind of where you were, years
I'm still
ago.
Starting out. But anyway, yeah.
What would you say is great about the studio that's different from everything else?
I would say, you're gonna come into a place where it's very comfortable and it's very intimate, and you can be vulnerable, you can be honest. It's a place where hopefully it's a safe haven. That's how I felt when I came here. It was a very special place where I could be my most vulnerable, I could be my weakest, I could be my strongest. So it's a special place, and it's been like that for me. I hope wherever people come in here, I think they're gonna have the same. And I think it has to do with the space and more importantly her. She's a very welcoming person. She's warm. She's not gonna shove things down your throat. She's not gonna but she's gonna be honest with you. And she's going to challenge you, she's going to push you. And I think that's what, hopefully, if you want to be a better actor, you need and you want.